If you have a photo studio and you're thinking, am I profitable enough? Or am I leaving money on the table? Or actually, am I even giving my clients enough? Or you're thinking about opening a studio, I'm going to talk to you about 3 different levels of studios. Now I have my notes here. If you see me looking down, that's what's happening. But we're going to talk about budget-friendly studios. We're going to talk about mid-tier studios, everything that they should have in there. And then we're going to talk about the premium level studios, everything that you should be including in there at the very least. If you don't make this checklist, then I think it's important that you analyze it and say, wait, which kind of a studio am I? And am I getting enough clients? How can I invest a little bit more and give a huge amount more to my clients? So the first one that we're going to do is the budget-friendly studios. And those are the ones that are your simple white box. That's where a lot of the beginner photographers are going to go, videographers, and even sometimes YouTubers, and then they'll have a chance to talk, but they don't need a lot of space. They just need like a white wall behind them. They don't need a window. They don't need artwork or anything of that sort. So the white studios, at the very least, what you need to be offering is a seamless paper roll, white, gray, and a black. You got to have those 3 for them, and it should be included as part of the rental in the studio. I also think that a white studio, you need to have basic lighting set up, and that means one continuous light like the one I have listed is sufficient. One C-stand for that one light is where they're going to put it, and then also one strobe with one modifier. This is the very basic that you should have in your studio, so you could say I'm a full space. Now hopefully you have a window like the one behind me, but if you don't, you can still get away with having a profitable business. The other thing that I think that you need to be having is very minimal props. Now what I mean by that is potentially an Apple box or a very universal type of stool, like a simple stool that's not very stylized. And then this is something that people could hopefully not stand on, but different types of models and different age brackets, and everybody could stand against it. And you've all seen a very basic stool. With that right there, you have the minimum necessary equipment for a $20 to $35 per hour range. Now understand that a studio in Tucson, Arizona is going to probably cost substantially less than a studio in Los Angeles, California. So you have to figure out where you are in the market and how much you should be charging. But this is more a video about what you should be giving your clients so that you become a client magnet and that you stay booked and you become a studio that's constantly churning people in and out and making sure that the money's always going through your bank account. The next thing is clean white walls. So white walls like this aren't going to cut it. I need this entire white wall or this here completely blank. I don't want to see a lot of like posters and everything on it. I don't want to see anything besides a white space. Let them do a lookbook, let them do a headshot, let them do whatever they want. Give them a clean white space. On top of that, there needs to be a vanity area. The vanity area doesn't have to be so incredible. It could be sometimes just like a strip of light on one side and then a strip of light on the other and then a small mirror. This could be something that is fold-upable and you could put it away if you need to, if you're low on space. You can also work with a very small space for the makeup slash hair stylist. So probably if you're renting a studio of this size, likely there is one of them doing both jobs. So for that, I would imagine a table about that wide. And with that table, that's enough for them to put their blow dryer and their curling iron, just like all the makeup colors, etc. Good mirror and you're done. It doesn't have to be that drastic, just something to get it done, something that you could use on the go if you're using in the back of a car or on location, etc. And the other thing is, and there's no excuse for this, is that you need fast Wi-Fi. You need fast Wi-Fi as a teaser alert of all the different studio models. There is no reason anymore to have slow internet. But hypocrite alert, I had very slow internet in my studio, 5-point studio when I had that in LA. The other thing that you need to have is basic Bluetooth speaker, like a simple JBL that is the size of like, here's a glass of water, like 3 of these stacked. That's enough for them to be able to get good sound. I just recently rented a studio, this really cool monochromatic neutral colored one, not even like a tiny baby speaker in sight. So I had to use my phone and play that. Go spend $40, go to Facebook Marketplace, and then go and get something. There's a lot of people that I know that shop exclusively on Facebook Marketplace. And then the other thing, you got two more things. Number one, a simple check-in. It doesn't have to be too elaborate, but you don't, at that level, you don't have to hire a receptionist, or you shouldn't, because you're not going to be profitable. So something they can come in, they could book. And then I also want to say, at this price level, how do I say it classy? There are high-end hotels, and then there's motels. Some of those motels at the bottom level rent by the hour. You know why? Allegedly. You kind of have to treat this a little bit that way. So you're going to be available for 1 hour rentals, 2 hour rentals. This is, well, actually think of it this way. This is kind of like that sample, like the little sample thing of just, I want to try the studio out. I want to try photography out. I want to try my hand out at content creation. And you don't want to close yourself off to the market. So what's happening is that someone is renting your studio for 1 or 2 hours. Every single person that rents it for an hour, if you treat them well, will come for 2, then for 4, then for 8 as they build up their career. Next, I want to go into the mid-level studios. What should they have? That would be something in the maybe 35. Remember, we started from 20 to 35, 35 to, I would say, about 60 per hour. This is the major difference. Okay, so now suddenly the type of people that are renting this stuff out, they have a channel that is somewhat successful. They have a photo shoot that is a little bit larger, so I would say a little bit more successful. Also, at this point is really where the brands come in and the budgets dramatically start to increase. As those budgets increase, you're going to get increase in demand. So right off the bat, it would be very, very ideal to have a built-in white cyc. Built-in white. You can charge them for repainting it. I would charge that in my studio. I believe it was like $75 or $100 to repaint it. Now, you should at the very least have about, I would say, 5 to 8 seamless paper backdrops, okay? Ideally, you would have a built-in white cyc. If you don't have that, then you need to have 5 to 8 paper backdrops. And I'm talking about white. I'm talking about a cream, talking about a medium gray, black, neutral tone, and then give me, so that's like 5, give me a red, a blue, a green, and a yellow. Do people look good in yellow? Yeah, some people look good in yellow. So then like a yellow. Now, if you already have a white cyc, including those would be a big plus. You should still include some paper backdrops. And a lot of studios will bill by the number of feet, the number of yards. For you European people, or everyone else in the world that's different than the US, meters and etc. The other thing is that you want to have upgrade lighting. So for this one, with the upgraded lighting, you should have, I would say, 2 strobes, 2 continuous lights, and they could even be like 1 continuous light and some LED type of lighting. And then I want you to have about like 3 different types of umbrellas, like a silver, like a silver shoot through, and then maybe a gold. That's essential. They don't have to be the massive umbrellas. That can go for the premium studios. Then I would encourage you to have a softbox, because that's a very good basic. And you need to have a V-flat. Don't charge that much if you're not going to have a V-flat. Do not charge that much. If I have to pay for a V-flat and you don't have one in there, I will accidentally break something. No, I won't. But I feel like I want to break something. The other thing too is you're going to have a more stylized space. So you can have a few different types of stools. You can have a nice chair that somebody would use in like a birthday shoot or a boudoir shoot or etc. You should at this point start having a couple of different textures, or at least one different texture on a wall. So you better at this price range have a window. If you don't have a window, I don't think that you're at mid-level. Some furniture, that could be some frames like you see behind me. They could be blank frames and they bring out their own printout so they don't have to clear the art, but you would do some gold frames, just a variety of different things. Maybe a nice little table, maybe a little couch. That's it, the basics. They can add a few things to it, but now you can't say, well, I didn't provide you anything else. You're giving some art department, additional lighting, lots of paper color backdrops, etc. The next thing is I want you to have a tether friendly station on wheels, 2 cup holders. It needs to have like a power strip on it so the photographer can use it exclusively, something that's going to fit their laptop and has a lip around the edges so that the lenses don't roll off and hit the ground. Simple cart. You can buy that. You should buy that and buy a quality one, not the ones that rock kind of like back and forth that you got on like Shein or Overstock or any place like that. It's like the photographer's safety space, and it's that little tiny stroller for them that nobody else is allowed to touch. Please make sure people can put their drinks in a cup holder, because if it doesn't, people are going to flip their lids. The next thing is you need to have a private changing area. Remember, in the budget friendly ones, I didn't say you need to have a private changing area, but you can have a tent out to the side and, of course, treat them with respect and give them the privacy they deserve. On top of that, you need to have a full length mirror. You need to have like curtains that reach the ground, or a private little room where they can get changed and they don't feel like someone's going to walk in on them. Full length mirror, that private space, and one rolling rack. On top of the one rolling rack, you should have one industrial steamer. Do not go to Bed Bath and Beyond, or if they're even around anymore. Go get an industrial one. Go buy it used on Facebook Marketplace if you have to. On the other side, or maybe the other half of the room, needs to be your hair, needs to be your makeup people. Remember I said like you can have a counter this big? I need you to double that. I need the mirror to be attached to the wall, and we want to have daylight balanced light bulbs all the way around it. You gotta have a surge protector so the blow dryer doesn't keep blowing out the fuse, which happened at my studio, just want to say. And then a bonus would be like, oh, maybe even soundproofing, because at this point people want to come in and maybe record YouTube videos, so they want to be able to not hear traffic, and or at least too much of traffic. So you want to make sure that you're not like right on the street, or there's some decent soundproofing. The other thing too is I need you to have good speakers. At this point, you can still have a portable speaker. That's fine, but the premiums, that's not good enough. But I also want you to have a more robust booking system. And this is something that you would book, but you can also cancel, you can also reschedule, and you don't need a human to come in and manually approve it if they don't want to. Finally, for this one, of course, the high-speed internet goes without saying. That's for all of them. But then finally, what I want to say is that you should have extended hours. That means early morning, that means late at night, and that means weekends. The thing is that a lot of times I would rent my studio. They weren't even filming in it, but it was in a pristine area where they would hire a security guard and they would say, hey, can we get your studio for 8 hours plus 4 hours overtime? Okay, that's great. So they would book it from like 7 p.m. at night till 7 a.m. the next morning, and they were filming on the street somewhere nearby, and I would go and book the studio for them. I need to be able to provide late hours. Now, I didn't have to be there for those unique cases. They would have security guard being there, and we had cameras, etc. But there's going to be a lot of bookings that you don't know. There's going to be private dinners and baby showers, etc. Make sure you provide for the community, and the community will provide for you. The next one I want to talk to you about is the premium one. Excuse me for like running through these really quick, but I want to make sure I give you as much as possible. What if you want to offer a studio that's a little bit more premium? By now, by the way, you should have thought about, wait, I thought I was budget friendly, but I'm actually more mid-tier. So then at this point, you're like, well, maybe I need to raise my prices, or offer less and charge less. Or you thought you were budget friendly, but you were not even there, and you need to add more to be more respectful to your clients. These are the things that are going to push your studio over the edge. By the way, there's a whole playlist that people love of my photo studio series, so check that out. If you want free help, by the way, like literally free, not for a week, not for a month, free, period, help in your photography, filmmaking, your studio business, your editing, etc. I have a private free Discord called VBA. It stands for Visual Business Academy. And it's kind of like my answer to so many people giving bad advice on the internet, so many people being really rude and hurtful on the internet. And I thought, you know what? I wonder if I can collect good people. We help each other. We all rise up together. And I want to make it free. And then there could be private courses in there, but the majority of it will be free. I'd love to see you in there. That's linked right below the first comment and in the description of this video. Let's go into the premium. The premium, I would say, is between $60 to $100, maybe $125 per hour. The premium, you must have a white site built. Unless you have some other amazing features, like massive New York loft style windows, and that's your like offering for the public, you need to have a permanently built white site. And let me tell you from experience, hire somebody, because that curved is like, it will age you at least 6 or 7 years. promise you. Or get like a skateboarder that has built their ramp. Those guys, those ladies, they know how to do that. But I think that you need to also have a theme setup. So in my studio, I was charging about 150 per hour on average. I had something called that I called the New York loft. Then I had something called Americana. Then I had some in between stuff. Then I had separate rooms, etc. So when you came to my studio, you knew that you were going to be taken care of with art department with a very minimal investment. Maybe you added some pillows to the couch, etc., or changed some of the art in the background. Then at that point, you would come in and you're like, well, I'm going to spend a little bit more in the studio, but a lot less on art department, hiring even an art department person. So it made sense. Like I filmed a lot of stuff in there. But on top of that, I want to make sure that we have multiple lighting options. Now, it's okay if you have like a Godox, or you have an Alien B, etc. Strobes, you need to have 2 to 3 heads. You need to have beauty dish by now. You need to have a large parabolic. You need to have massive shoot throughs. You need to have scrims. You need to have like soft boxes, the strips and the massive soft boxes. You need to have a lot of modifiers, a lot of lights. You need to have 2 to 3 continuous lights, power strips, etc. Of course, the DIT cart, the tethering cart, but you need to have everything for them. But on equipment, this is really important, you guys. You need to have stuff that they can rent. So now that's the kind of studios that I book. I don't want to hire a van. I don't want to hire a van. I don't want to hire a driver. That's expensive. Now I have insurance. Now I have to like worry about getting the car picked up and then turned in. It's a mess. There's never been someone in the history of filming that has not scratched something or returned something late. I want to rent from you. Even if it's a tiny bit more expensive, I want to rent from you. My Vanity Fair shoot is an example of that. I rented everything from them. It was there when I got there. It was like we put it all in a corner when I left and we were done. That's such a relief. I can rent all my stuff for $250 down the street or $275 at your studio. I will pay you all day extra, so I just get it there, it's taken care of. By the way, if that's your studio, then you're going to be there. If something isn't working, then you're going to be working with me and making sure that it works. I also want to say that you need to have a dedicated lounge. You can call that a green room area, but really it's important for you as a director, as a filmmaker, to keep the talent near, to keep the parents, the agent, the manager, the publicist kind of near but far away in another room. But it's also a place that they can relax and they can feel like a star. People are paying things. It's all psychological. It's all emotions, and that's how people book. Please get yourself a green room, but do not put yourself up in the premium levels if you don't have that for them. They should have a nice, beautiful place for vanity that's ideally next to the green room, a separate room or very, very dedicated section to wardrobe, full length mirror, full beautiful curtains or separate room. You got to have extra fold up tables for the stylist in there. This shouldn't be something that they rent, at least 1 or 2 tables, because they're going to open up and put shoes and purses and gloves and jewelry, everything, hair and makeup, wigs, like, do you know how many eyelashes they bring? A ton. You can actually sweep the floor, like if you combine them all together. I'm trying to go through these as fast as I can, but I want to help as many of you guys as possible. By the way, if you appreciate that, please do hit the subscribe because that helps this channel grow. But I want to make sure that you also understand that it's not required, but it is very, very ideal and almost expected to have 2 Wi-Fi networks. One public one, and then you can have a backup one. One public one for the talent. You know, whichever way you want to do it. One public one for the staff. Have 2 in case it goes down. These are people that are sending stuff overseas. They're uploading footage. They're uploading and they're going to do it in real time. Please do not sabotage yourself with if somebody is zooming somebody or FaceTiming, etc., to show something to the client that might be in Japan, but they're filming this in Chicago. Please have something that they can have a good, clean reception. I also want to say too that on-site studio assistant should be available. You can bill for this. I would say on average of $250 to $350 a day, but they should be available and they should be able to answer any and all questions. They should have access to the rooms that are locked, like, you know, the circuit grid. They should be able to deal with plumbing, etc. They should be able to be your point person, and that's something that we normally would pay for. So it's not a big problem for you to have that, but please have that. People are willing to pay for that, and you can actually enforce it. I paid for that recently in a Las Vegas shoot. I was like, well, damn it. But they were useful. Large private restroom for men, large private restroom for women. The other thing too I want to say is at this point, have the speakers mounted in the corners, something that's out of the way, something that's good in surround sound, and then also, of course, the membership. Of course, they're able to book online, etc. But if you're a premium studio, you're getting premium brands, you're getting premium productions. These people don't rent for a day, they rent for like 2 or 3 days just for that cushion. They have that kind of a budget. Please make them feel special. Please make the person that is booking you feel special. In my studio, I would say like they would rent it for 2 days. 1 day for pre-light. Then they would do a second day for, the actual production. And I would say, hey, you guys, I know everyone's tired. If you want to come in tomorrow from 10 a.m. to noon, you can have up to 2 hours for free. We have a very small shoot going on, but they didn't pay for this to be exclusive for them. So if your guys want to go and they want to sleep and come back and do something, a couple extra hours, don't worry about it. Just remember me on the next booking. They like ate from the palm of my hand, I'm telling you. And it was nice. It was just a nice thing to do. I hope this really helps you. Think about it. If you have questions about your studio, think about where you want to fall. If you want to consult me privately on a Zoom call for like an hour session, there's a link for that too, all down below. But I hope to see you inside of VBA, and I hope to see you contribute to this community. And I hope to see you have a very, very successful photography studio. All right, my friend, I'll talk to you later. My name is Walid Azami. My work is right there. Thanks so much.